Alrighty, ladies and germs, I'm going to show you how you're going to do the lab tomorrow. The equipment you're going to need for the lab is you're going to need a couple of meter sticks, you're going to need a stopwatch or two, and you're going to need 50 dominoes. And I'm going to be using these plastic dominoes because they're a lot easier to sanitize. Your dominoes may or may not be in a bucket with some sanitizing water in it. Either that or they'll be laid out on a paper towel for you to collect, but you need to count out 50 of them. I like to stack them in groups of 5 and do the poker chip thing. What you're going to do is you're going to set up 50 dominoes with approximately the same space between them along the desk. And then you're going to measure the length of the string of dominoes. When everything has been measured, you're going to knock down the string of dominoes and you're going to time how long it takes. And you're going to calculate the velocity of this domino falling domino rally thing. You're going to do that by taking the length and dividing by the time. Then you're going to pick them up and set them up again with a slightly different spacing and repeat as necessary. I'd like you to get 5 trials in, but we do need to stop about 5 or 10 minutes before the end of the period so I can collect up the materials and we can get everything cleaned up for the next group. I'm going to show you one. I do want to warn you that there are some limits. If the dominoes are too close together, like less than 1 domino width apart, I mean like half a domino width apart, they don't tend to fall in the correct domino rally way. Also, if they're more or approximately 1 domino height apart, though a domino will not hit the next domino. So I'm going to set this up and we'll speed this up in practice. You don't need to measure each separation, just eyeball it. Also, the dominoes may be slightly different from each other. There are a couple different brands here. They all work just fine. This goes much faster if you have a partner. People ask me if they have to be set up straight, and yes, as straight as possible to eliminate variables, like curvature and whatnot. Another good idea is every so often to leave space for a couple dominoes and leave them out. Leave them to the side, and then you can slip them in later. This will prevent the domino chain from falling down as you're setting it up. So I said you measure the length and you measure the time, and that tells you what the velocity is. But you also need to know what the spacing is, and for that you measure the length of the domino chain, and you divide by the number of dominoes, which is very nearly spacing between them. If you consider measuring from the center of your first domino to the center of your last domino, it will be exactly the spacing in between them. However, most people tend to measure from the beginning of the first domino to the end of the last domino. So the whole thing is off by a little bit about the width of 1 domino. Time to push the dominoes into place. I'm going to use a meter stick to do it. Also gets everything lined up perfectly if I push everybody a little bit towards the end. Oh, that was close. That was so freaking close. Okay, here's my first row of dominoes, so I'm going to go ahead and measure the length of the chain of dominoes. I'm going to measure from the center of the first domino to the center of the last domino, and I'm getting 86.8. 86.8. So let me write that down real quick. .8 centimeters. And now it's time for the moment of truth. Get this out of the way. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. it didn't work. It didn't work. It did in time.